Our movie begins with a 17-year-old teenage boy named Allan. His father, Ernesto, was a retired army officer who constantly beat and insulted him because he wanted his son to become a man who could rely on himself. Because of this, he treated him harshly and showed no care or interest in him like a normal father would. This made Allan hate his father deeply and wish for his death so he could live freely instead of in the prison he was trapped in. His father's cruelty led him to cut off all his friends, claiming he was just trying to protect him. Ernesto wanted to impose the military lifestyle and values he had grown up with on Allan: discipline, hardship, masculinity, and other principles. But he forgot that his son was still just a teenager, whose thinking matched his age, and that he was going through the toughest stage of his life. Allan needed someone to be there for him, to get close to him, and to understand his struggles. But his father never did that. In fact, if a day passed without Ernesto beating, insulting, or humiliating his son, he felt like something was missing. He had become so used to abusing his son under the excuse that he wanted to make him a man. Allan always said his biggest wish was to live a normal life like all his friends, but his father kept destroying it in the name of building his independence and manhood. After some time, Ernesto decided to remarry after the death of his wife. Allan was thrilled, hoping the marriage would ease his father's harsh treatment and maybe even change his behavior. Ernesto did marry a woman in her 40s named Eden, a very beautiful woman who had been married 3 times before. Allan hoped his father would change, but instead, he continued to beat and insult him in front of his new wife, who tried to defend him. Ernesto insulted her too, saying, "I want my only son to be a man and to learn everything from me." He proudly told Allan how strong he had been in the army and how his entire battalion feared and respected him. Eden tried to calm him down and asked him to treat his son better, warning that his methods might backfire and destroy the boy's life even more. Ernesto got angry and told her, "Mind your own business. If I don't treat him this way, he'll turn out to be a failure." That night, Allan was deeply upset by his father's mistreatment and thought of running away. But he knew his father would find him, and possibly kill him. While staying up late, he heard his father and stepmother laughing in the other room. He started timing how long his father spent with her and was surprised that his old man was still in good health and capable of intimacy. The next morning, his father woke him up very harshly. Before breakfast, he demanded that Allan recite the army anthem, and Allan complied as if he were in a military unit. His stepmother felt deep pity for Allan and didn't know how to help him. Ernesto continued bragging about how he used to motivate soldiers and teach them to be self-reliant men. Then he noticed Allan was being disrespectful to Eden and didn't call her mom, so in a fit of rage, he hit him in the leg and demanded that he show her respect, as she was like a mother to him. Allan became furious. He had hoped his father's marriage would soften him, but instead, he hated Eden for replacing his real mother. That night, Allan stayed up as usual and overheard Eden speaking to his father in a tender tone. He continued timing how long they spent together and noticed that Ernesto's health seemed to be improving daily. His latest record was 46 minutes, which was quite an achievement for a man his age. The next morning at breakfast, his father once again asked him to recite the army anthem. Allan made a mistake while reciting it, which led to another round of insults and verbal abuse. Ernesto said, "You'll never become a man. I wish I had a daughter instead of you. At least she could memorize the army anthem." Allan had had enough. He thought of hitting his father with his breakfast plate. After breakfast, his father told him he was going on a trip and instructed him to take care of the house while he was gone, to respect Eden, and to call her mom. Allan replied coldly, "My mom is dead. I have no other mother." Ernesto became furious and nearly hit him again, saying, "You need to change and become a man." Then he turned to Eden and said, "When I come back, I want this boy to be a man." Eden replied, "He is still young, just 17. We can't push him beyond his limits." But Ernesto was angered and told her, "Don't pamper him. Be strict. If anything breaks in the house, he should fix it. And if he disobeys you, call me, and I'll come back immediately to get rid of him. I'll make him a man no matter what." When Allan realized his father had left, he was overjoyed to be free of him and his abuse. He even prayed that he would never come back. That night, Allan stayed up again, but this time, he was deeply sad. He had grown used to hearing Eden's voice while she was with his father. The next morning, Eden, his stepmother, was heading to the supermarket in her car, but unfortunately, the car broke down and wasn't working properly. So she decided to go to Allan and ask him to fix it. The door to his room was open, and his stepmother was shocked when she saw him doing strange things in his room. What was even more surprising was that she kept watching him and seemed to enjoy what he was doing. Suddenly, he felt her presence and became extremely embarrassed about what he had been doing. She acted as if she hadn't seen anything, then spoke to him and told him the car had broken down and asked him to check and fix it. Allan pretended to understand and went out to fix the car. His stepmother was looking at him strangely, and suddenly, he was shocked by an electric current from the car battery. She rushed to help him. Afterward, they talked, and he realized she wouldn't tell his father about what she had seen him doing in his room. He lied and said, "I wasn't doing anything," to which she replied, "I saw everything you were doing," and told him it would be their little secret. Then she got closer to him, practically devouring him with her eyes. That night, Eden called her husband and told him about the car. He asked her to give the phone to Allan and continued insulting him, saying, "You better fix the car, and you'll never be a real man, no one can depend on you." So Allan went to try to fix the car, but unfortunately, he couldn't figure out what was wrong. Then his stepmother came up behind him and kept staring at his body and muscles with very strange looks. The devil started to take hold of her, but the boy didn't understand what she wanted, and she didn't know how to express her desire. So she pretended to stumble while walking and acted like her legs were injured. When Allan saw her, he quickly rushed to help, unaware that she was faking it and putting on a show. He carried her inside and began gently massaging her legs, and she was clearly enjoying it and didn't want him to stop. But he still didn't understand what she wanted from him. Then she spoke to him and told him she wouldn't tell his father about anything that might happen between them and that she wanted to be his friend and lover. That's when Allan began to understand what she was after. He left her and rushed to his room, staying up all night thinking about what his stepmother wanted from him. Then he decided to turn on the TV, and his stepmother sensed this, so she came to him at that moment, claiming he was watching inappropriate things. When she entered, he quickly changed the channel. But his stepmother knew what he had been watching, as he looked in a bad state. She then entered his room wearing revealing clothes, sat next to him, and placed her leg on him, pretending she was tired, asking him to massage her. Allan agreed to her request and didn't refuse, because he wanted to please her in any way so that she wouldn't upset his father. His stepmother fully engaged with him, and suddenly, she started losing control, and the devil took over them both. Then she grabbed his hand, and Allan was shocked by what was happening. Being a teenager, he couldn't control himself, so he moved closer to her, and a physical relationship took place between them. After they finished, Allan looked at a picture of his father and said, "I've taken revenge on you through your wife because of how badly you treated me." The next morning, Allan was very happy about what had happened. His stepmother talked to him and asked him not to tell anyone. Day after day, they got used to each other, and happiness and joy became apparent between them. His stepmother treated him kindly, unlike his father's harsh behavior. She understood how he thought, what he wanted, and was always by his side to help him. He even began timing how long he spent with her, just as he used to do with his father, and since he was still young, he surpassed his father by spending more time with her. His stepmother was so happy with him that she would hide his father's photo whenever they were together, and the house became filled with laughter and playfulness. With time, Allan began to succeed and rely on himself. He even managed to fix the car by himself, which made his stepmother very happy because he had changed for the better. One day, as he was returning home, he bought flowers to gift to his stepmother. But to his surprise, his father had returned from his trip. He became very upset, as he had been happy during his father's absence. He grew angry when he heard his stepmother and father in the same room and felt extremely jealous. He dropped the flowers from his hand and went into his room, heartbroken, not knowing what to do, because he wanted his stepmother all to himself and didn't want anyone to share her, especially since she cared about him, respected him, and understood how he thought. The next morning, while his stepmother was washing dishes in the kitchen, Allan came in and tried to get close to her. She got angry and said to him, "Forget what happened between us, or I'll tell your father what you did to me." Allan was shocked by her words and felt that she had been deceiving him. He tried to approach her forcefully, but she hit him hard and struck his face. At that moment, his father heard them and came in to see what was happening, only to find his son with an injury on his face. Eden lied and tried to cover up the situation, telling him Allan had tripped and that everything was fine. But Allan looked at her with intense anger, realizing she had only been enjoying his company until his father returned, that she never loved him and had only been fooling him. His father laughed at him too and got angry, saying, "You'll never be a real man," and continued insulting him again. Then he told Allan to bring the fishing gear, as they would go on a fishing trip together the next day. The following day, they went on a fishing trip and took a small boat, just the two of them. Allan was very sad that his father had returned and taken Eden away from him. His father was lost in thought while fishing, and Allan pulled out a knife, intending to stab him because of all the bad treatment he had received. But his father began speaking to him, with his back turned, telling him how much he loved him, that he was the most precious thing in his life, and apologized for everything. He said, "I want you to become a man. I worry about you because life can betray you. I want you to succeed, to make me proud, because you're my only son, and I love you more than I love myself. I want you to be strong so you can face life's hardships." Upon hearing those touching words, Allan changed his mind and didn't stab his father. They returned from the fishing trip, and his stepmother prepared the fish they had caught, and they all had lunch together. At that moment, Allan felt guilt and realized that his father did care for him and loved him. But suddenly, his thinking changed again. He wanted to take revenge on his father while he was talking to his wife. Allan grabbed a weapon and wanted to kill him. Then he broke down, cried, and confessed to his father everything that had happened with his wife, blaming him for the harsh way he had always treated him. Strangely, his father didn't believe him and kept laughing, trying to calm him down to take the weapon away. His stepmother denied everything had ever happened between them. Then his father said, "I wanted you to become a man, and now you are one. And it's all thanks to Eden, who made you a man." Then Allan dropped the weapon, and they all went back to eating the fish they had caught. And that is how the movie ends.